So, as it stands right now, we're in an awkward situation with how the game itself is progressing. So I'm going to have a small little discussion with you guys about how I think the meta for big bodied characters is forming. Now, in my honest opinion, uh, just from seeing how games have been forming, and not only in the SPL but in ranked, etc., I am believing that push is very important for wherever the hell the support goes. If you're gonna put the support in the dual on the solo lane, or if you're gonna put the support in the dual lane or middle, etc., wherever the hell you put them, it seems to be more important for you to be able to clear that lane really fast instead of what's going to save the whole team, because being able to clear your lane fast means that you get to invade the jungle. Now, the reason why this is really important is because it sets up the rest of your team for success. By taking away jungle camps, you're taking away EXP from jungler, potentially middle, and it seems to be just better in my opinion. That being said, you always want a Guardian on your team, and Guardians fit really well in solo lane, and they fit really well in the jungle right now. There is a bunch of items in the game that make Guardian jungles really scary. Overly cheap items that give you protections, magic damage, and some sort of aura that buffs the rest of the team. It's why we're seeing a resurgence of Krabracket. So if you're getting that CC Guardian somewhere else in the game, there's literally no reason why you can't put a support as a warrior. If you look at this rank game we had, Pain goes Amma. Now, Amma is generally a weaker clear warrior. As you know, she has a weaker early game than the other characters. But she has a stronger clear than Guardians do. Not only does she have a stronger clear than Guardians do, she can rotate around the map easier. She also has better sustain. And she can impact mid-fights earlier. I do think there are some Guardians that have extreme push that are just as good as Warriors. But I feel like there's more Warriors that fit this role. And also their ganks in the middle lane are stronger. Just by looking at that right there, this sets up the team for so much. This allows your dual lane to get ahead. This takes away EXP from the jungle, from the duo, from the middle. It's overall good, and it allows Pain to be able to rotate earlier, which means that your ADC can start soloing earlier and getting bigger earlier. I don't know. It's starting to feel we're going back to a Season 1 style of play. I don't know if I'm for or against it. There are ways to stop this, yes. But it forces the enemy team to try and stop it. Even if like let's say you come over here, right? and you're invading this, and the enemy team decides to come over here to stop you from taking this, right? You're taking away time from the mid laner and the jungler to mess around with your middle or jungle. Yes. That is partially of one of the situations. You let your solo get screwed over. But it opens up more opportunities. The idea behind this is more for the fact that not only does it give you lane pressure, not only does it make the enemy team react to what you're doing, but when Pain gets level 5 and goes to middle, he's going to have more of an impact than when the Geb does. And in this style of play, he's usually going to hit 5 before the Geb is, because he has pressure and he has higher clear, and he's able to go to the jungle, and he's able to go to clear the buffs faster, and he has to rotate to camps a lot faster. He has better sustain, so he has to go back less times. Not only that, but a big thing that I don't see people doing that is a real possibility right now is warriors have a very easy time, besides Amir also, to solo these back camps. These back camps are off cooldown very often. These back camps can't really be picked up by the jungler all the time, and they're very useful EXP. Having a warrior support means they can easily go take those and farm off them. Not only can he take your teams, but he can safely take the enemy's teams back camps and put himself ahead for EXP that you normally wouldn't have. And it's something Guardians can't normally do because they don't have mobility to get away. So it's just another thing that I was doing when I was playing a warrior support that a Guardian can't really do. I don't really see the negative to it because you have a Guardian elsewhere on the map. But so what's gonna happen is dual lane is probably gonna go back to a very similar meta of season 1, but it's gonna flip the whole script for jungle and solo. If you know your solo is gonna get screwed, and you know your solo is just gonna lose, you're gonna probably put a suicide solo there. You're gonna put a solo that was gonna be able to do well when they're behind, and gonna be able to survive being screwed over for a while, like Guardians. Or you could just put a really safe warrior over here and put a Guardian in the jungle, like I was doing. We actually have 2 Guardians extra, but that's okay. We have all the CC we need, and we have all the big bodies. Now, the big problem about this, which means is we're probably going back into a tank meta. You're probably going to have 3 tanks. Partially because of the items. Right? If you start a Guardian jungle, you can start off with Vanguard. Your solo is also going to probably start off with Vanguard. What this means is no one wants to gank Vanguard solo lane. It's not happening. You never kill that dude. He always lives unless you're ridiculously ahead. I think it might be bad. I think once this catches on, I think it's going to be a bad trend. I think it's going to make the game slower paced, more snowbally, because when tanks get ahead, you kind of just can't kill them, and then they just run right through you. I'm a little scared of it. I didn't notice because I didn't pay attention to all the god changes, or all the item changes when I wasn't playing the game for a while. And we're gonna go over these item changes like right after this. too. So, yeah, if you're playing solo and you're playing jungle, you might want to brush up on your Guardian. If you're playing dual lane and you're a support player, you might want to brush up on your warrior. Honest to God truth, all bullshit aside, you might, even for like a pro team, you might even be able to put your solo lane player in dual lane as a warrior. Because what I've noticed is the warrior support, that, well, at least the way I've been playing it, can be played as the solo lane player. You can go Bluestone. You can go those really, really, really selfish builds because you kind of just doing what solo lane does, except you're second jungling. So it's a little awkward, there's probably a little bit of a mix and match that you can possibly do with this, but we'll see how it develops. Let me go over these quick Guardian items that I think are actually can potentially break the game, and are what are partially making this whole meta possible. So normally as a Guardian, right, you would go Guardian and you would go in the jungle, and you would probably have to sacrifice some tankiness, or you either go in tank or you go in burst damage, right? Not anymore, right? So you start the game of Bumbas and you start the game of Vanguard. You're playing very similar to Season 3, where you're running around your middle a lot because you don't have that extra damage having to clear your jungle fast enough. So yeah, you actually do need to go back to playing similar to Season 3 with this build. But you have ridiculously cheap items. You have Stone of Binding. Gives you both protections, magical power, and gives everyone around you a 10 penetration buff for 5 seconds. This is ridiculous early, and it's only 1,700 gold. You're going to burst people down with your middle. They're going to die. We also seen a buff on Voidstone, where now it has 70 magical protection and 20 penetration, opposed to its 15 and 50. This is less than 4k gold for both of these. Let's say you're not scared of magic damage that game. Magic damage isn't a problem, and you might not have a magical mid lane for whatever reason. It's possible when you have a Guardian jungle. You just get Dynasty Plate Helm, another 1,700 gold item with more protection and damage and penetration. Guess what? The next item you really want to buy that's really, really good, Emperor's Crown, is only 2150. It reduces physical power by 30 while giving you stats that you want. These are really cheap items with really powerful spikes that are making your Guardians do more damage than they possibly should while being extremely tanky. When you're getting these items, you're not actually giving anything up. You're doing damage while being tanky. It's a problem. It's going to escalate once people start seeing that it's happening. Another good thing, another good item is Stone of Fall, but you rarely ever see it. But let's say you are getting to a point where that mage is starting to do way too much damage, and maybe you want to sell one of these items, just pick this up later. You're still going to be tanky. Not to mention the change the Ethereal Staff. It's a better Soul Reaver for Guardians. I don't know. I think those items might need cost increases. The first 4. That's just my opinion on that. So, if you haven't tried it already, give it a shot. See if it works for you. Anyway, That's my opinion and ideas on the state of big bodies in Smite. Leave a comment and tell me if you agree with me. Leave a comment if you tell me that you disagree with me, or you just want to tell me I'm retarded for saying these things. Anyway, thank you guys. I'll see y'all later. But yeah, man, I don't know. That's what I'm seeing is happening, and it's overall creating a bunch of pressure for everybody.